Hello everyone and welcome to Brave Souls Rewind, the show where I 200 older characters so you don't have to. Today I'll be covering one of the newest resurrected characters, and one appropriate for today, the resurrected version of the 2nd anniversary Ichigo. I didn't know he was gonna get resurrected before announcing he was next, but hey, funny how things work out. Now I started with a normal attack damage build, and while it is obvious that he's made for an SP build, especially now after his resurrection, he does still have a plus 40 bruiser, and he had that even before the resurrection. The problem is that he's ranged, and he doesn't do piercing damage, and as we've seen in the past, this dramatically slows a character down. Now up against the wrong cards this is actually viable, though still very slow, since while it's not piercing, it does still do a significant amount of damage to them, and is able to knock him out in a couple of hits, especially if a killer is multiplied. That said, against other enemies, it does still do a decent amount of damage. Honestly, the main problem is just that it takes too long. But that's just in inheritance zones and droplet zones where the enemies are tougher. I also tried this build with a current event against Soul Reapers, and it actually did pretty well. In the end, you can finish a raid with this, but any difficult one will take you over 3 minutes, so I wouldn't really recommend it.
Bleep bloop.
Next up, we have the strong attack recharge / strong attack damage build, and out of every other character that's ever been resurrected, this version of Ichigo ended up getting the best possible upgrade, getting a strong attack recharge link, Berserker at 20, as well as Havoc at 20. The result is a really good character even by today's standards. I mean, he's no 5th anniversary Ichigo, don't get me wrong, but his strong attack 3 actually has better range than 5th anniversary Ichigo's, since it was already a charge move that had a full screen range when fully charged, and that was before Havoc. Now with Havoc, his strong attack 3 is close to a full screen before being charged, and well exceeds it after. His other strong attacks also get a boost in damage and range, and thanks to his new soul trait he can now spam them. You may still have to use your normal attack under this build, but thanks to that plus 40 bruiser, you can get some damage out of that as well. This is easily one of the best builds I've ever done on a rewind, and it is definitely viable. Now next up is the hybrid build, and thanks to last week's Nell, I was actually expecting this build to be not as good as the last one. But I was wrong, it was actually better. Believe it or not, I actually cleared the quest faster under this build than the last one. This is because I ended up finishing characters off with a normal attack instead of wasting a strong attack 1 or 2 on them. And as I mentioned earlier, his normal attacks aren't bad, they're just slow due to lack of piercing. When they're used just to finish enemies off if they have little remaining health, they're actually perfect, and you get to take full advantage of his plus 40 bruiser. I do still wish his normal attacks were piercing, but the build itself is definitely still viable. You know, I didn't think that K-Lab would outdo themselves so quickly after resurrecting Nell, but they definitely did. They did an excellent job resurrecting this character. If I had to guess, it might be because he's a very special character, since it was their 1st anniversary character, but I really hope they start improving other characters this much. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what other characters you want to see in a rewind.